Hey guys, welcome back to the Jays Fit Down podcast. I'm your host, Jane Gay, and today we're going to be talking about the NFL team that I think is going to surprise everyone in the 2023 season. I'll give you guys that pick there. And also, we'll talk about a little round the league news. OTAs going on and actually free agent signing that happened this morning. So we'll get into that as well. But thank you guys for again for supporting the channel, continuing to help grow this podcast. We're going strong. We're trying to continue to increase that subscriber count on YouTube. So make sure you guys are helping us out there by subscribing to the channel on YouTube and also um, subscribing to our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your favorite podcasts on those platforms. So make sure you guys do that as well to help us out. And without further ado, let's begin. So again, like I mentioned, this is my team that I think is going to shock everybody in the 2023 season. I think they had a great offseason. I think they're continuing to build. They made some great picks in the draft this year. And I think, you know, they got a solid roster going into the 2023 season, and I expect them to surprise a lot of people. And it is the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers finished with a 9-8 record last year. They missed the playoffs. Kenny Pickett, of course, we all know was a rookie quarterback. He didn't play till midpoint of the season, maybe a little after that. But by that point, it took a while to for him to acclimate to the offense, of course, as you would expect for a rookie quarterback coming into the NFL. It's going to take some time to get used to the NFL speed of things and used to running NFL offense and all those things. So, because Mitch Trubisky was a starter before Kenny Pickett came in, and he didn't do too well, as everybody probably expected him to, not do. He didn't do too well. But Pickett came in and he finished the year with 2,404 yards, 7 touchdowns, 9 picks in the games that he did play in 2022. Not horrible. But then again, I feel like Matt Canada, the offensive coordinator for the Steelers, the play calling wasn't all that well. Steelers fans can tell you, they'll tell you this. The play calling was not good at all. They felt a lot of things just weren't. They didn't put Kenny Pickett in the best position. And Najee Harris was also out with some injuries, so those are things that you have to factor into it as well. Why the Steelers were not as successful as they wanted to be in 2022. But then again, that's a tough division with the AFC North. You got the Bengals, who obviously run that division. And the Ravens, they were missing Lamar Jackson a good portion of the season last year, but they still were able to find their way into the playoffs. In the wild card against Cincinnati, they just lost. So, I honestly think that the Steelers can finish, you know, at least third in this division this year. I think they finished third, possibly even second. I mean, if Lamar Jackson cannot stay healthy again next year, God forbid, I hope he does. Because I want to see what happens with the Ravens. But if he can't stay healthy, then yeah, the Steelers have a chance to finish second in the AFC North. The Browns, I still think are going to be at number 4 at the bottom. They still got a lot of work to do now. They get DeAndre Hopkins, then that's a whole different conversation for a whole different podcast. But that's not, what we're talking about here. We're talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, again, you got to think about it. Another after having a full offseason under his belt with Matt Canada and Mike Tomlin, knowing what they want to establish offensively, they want to run the ball. But in this league, you have to be able to pass the football. And I think Kenny Pickett is a great quarterback. I think he fits what they want to do. And I think, working in OTAs, training camp, I think he's still getting all those reps in with these guys. And they brought in Allen Robinson to help that receiving core out as well. So that was a big addition that they made in free agency. I mean, you can sit here and say Allen Robinson's kind of spent, which is a solid argument. I mean, he went to the Rams and he didn't really do much there. But then again, they weren't looking his way. And a lot of stuff. He has been played by injuries a little bit, but when he was in Chicago, he was their number one guy. He had a couple good seasons there as well as in Jacksonville. So I think he's going to add, if he's healthy, I think he's going to be a solid addition to this core. Give Kenny Pickett a veteran option, solid numbers. And then you got Deontay Johnson as well, George Pickens, a second-year player. He's only going to get better. Mike Tomlin does love his Georgia players, though. Got Broderick Jones, offensive tackle, as well out of Georgia. Darnell Washington, the tight end, and then that's another thing. You got Pat Fryermuth, who's your typical vertical stretching tight end, right? He's going down the middle of the field, catch those seam routes, those long play action crossing routes. That's your guy there. But you add Darnell Washington as a guy who can block, and he can catch passes too. He's not going to, run those routes that I mentioned that Pat Fryermuth will run, but he's going to run some good routes. And he's going to run those short, intermediate routes, get those first downs for you, block. He's physical. He's big. That's the kind of guy you want at this level. You can also use him as a swing tackle as well. So there's multiple ways you can use him, and I like that the Steelers picked him up in the draft. I think it was a great pick for them. And if he continues to heal and get healthy for this season, I think he will be a great addition to that Pittsburgh Steelers offense. And that's the big thing about it. I mean, the offense just has to be consistent. They gotta score. They gotta get points in the red zone. Um, you know, um, they can run the ball with Najee Harris. And you hope he can stay healthy this year as well, so he can pound the rock. But also, help Kenny Pickett out there. Help Kenny Pickett out there with that ground game, and then use that to create a strong play action. And I think I think that'll be a big part of Matt Canada's game plan offensively. Because play action is a rookie quarterback's best friend, I believe. It helps slow down those edge rushers, and especially in the AFC North, because you got some great pass rushers in that division, and you know, some great pass rushers, some great defenses. Myles Garrett, on the Browns, and you got Trey Henderson and on the Bengals as well. But yeah, that's the big thing about it. So I really believe that this team is going to make strides in 2023. And defensively switching sides, picking up Joey Porter Jr. in the draft with that number one selection, huge, huge for this defense, huge for the secondary. You're adding him to a secondary that includes Patrick Peterson, Minka Fitzpatrick, Levi Wallace, all these guys. Like this was a big pickup for them. And this guy, this is a hometown kid, right? So it's perfect. I think his dad played for the Steelers. This is Joey Porter is a very smart player. He's lengthy. He's got the intangibles that you want in a rookie cornerback. And I think he's going to add his skills to this defense and a secondary that was already good. Because you know what Minka Fitzpatrick can do, him playing that robber role, in the defense, coming down through those with that cover three look, and being able to jump on those crossing routes, so that's where they like to use him, so bringing him down in that robber role in the middle intermediate area of the field, that's going to be huge. And you add Joey Porter to that mix, and they're going to move Patrick Peterson a lot around as well in the slot. I don't see him playing outside, of course, at his age. He's 32. But I see a lot of him in the slot, right? And I think that's going to be huge for them, and defense. I mean, that's and a guy that I hate that is not getting any love right now this offseason, and they didn't get much love in the season outside of the Steelers facilities and outside of the team is Alex Highsmith. This guy had 14 and a half sacks in 2022. 14 and a half sacks. Now, mind you, this is on the defense with T.J. Watt, Cam Hayward, these guys, right? Minka Fitzpatrick. So, of course, yeah, he's not going to get the love and attention, right? But this kid had a great season. He's in a contract year, and he finished also with 12 tackles for loss as well. So I think Alex Highsmith is going to continue to have a good season, especially this is a contract year. So he's going to have to repeat that success, that breakout success that he had in 2022 this season, because he's a huge part of their defense. When he's getting pressure along with T.J. Watt and Cam Hayward, that makes it very hard to block that Pittsburgh defensive line. And you got multiple pressures coming in as well, and they like to blitz. They added Cole Holcomb as well in the free agency, came over from Washington. So I really like what the Steelers are doing defensively. I really like what they're doing. I like what they've done. I like the way they play defense. They're physical. They're fast. They run to the ball. It's just a matter of can these guys stay healthy, and then the secondary. Can these corners hold up in the secondary against guys like Jamar Chase and all these guys there. And then of course you're adding Odell Beckham to the mix in Baltimore. So that division is going to be key. For Pittsburgh. But I'm sick of but Alex Highsmith, dude, that guy has got to get more love. I mean, he finished as a top pass rusher this past season. Love his game. Got a high motor. He gets after it. And great. He's great at getting to the quarterback. And that's what you need to do because again, in this league, you have to be able to pass the football, and you have to be able to get to the guys passing the football to win games in the NFL. That's just what it's come to now. And right now, you got to have guys on your team that are able to do that and do it at a high level. We all know what TJ Watt can do, but he missed time with the pec injury last year. So you bring him back. Hopefully, he stays healthy for the most part of the year, if not the full season. Cam Hayward knows we know what he can do inside, even at his age. He's getting older, but he's still producing inside in the interior, getting that interior pressure. So that's going to be huge. That's going to be key um, for the Steelers. And I honestly think that, and not to mention, now they also got Marcus Golden in free agency as well. So you're adding another pass rushing linebacker. So there's different ways you can rotate and interchange. And Mike Tomlin now has a bunch of ways that he can use his defense. Different looks he can throw out there. They love to use those high you safeties, cover three looks. They're sometimes throwing some cover two. And with Minka Fitzpatrick, you can do that back there in the secondary, and then switching some things around with the defensive line, and the blitzing packages, all of those types of things, right? And people underestimate, when you have versatile players on your defense, you're able to do a lot of things, throw a lot of looks, get into a lot of schemes, and that can really mess with the minds of quarterback from the opposing team and the offense coordinators, the play caller. So when you have the ability to do that, then I think you have something special there, right? You have that's why these teams look for versatile players in the draft. They look for guys that can play multiple positions, guys that understand that you can throw them in different looks, and they'll be able to succeed in those different schemes and looks that you put them into, right? That's the big thing about it, and I think Pittsburgh is going to prove a lot of people wrong this year. I think they are. And they got a great roster. You look at it. Again, offensively, Kenny Pickett, great quarterback going into his second year. Now he's had time. He's had reps. He's going to continue to have reps throughout the offseason, building chemistry with these guys. You add in Allen Robinson, a veteran receiver. You got Deontay Johnson, kind of a speedy burn type of guy. Love working him in the slot, right? And you can put him outside too. Put George Pickens in the slot. Pat Freiermuth, great vertical stretching tight end. Again, then adding Darnell Washington as well to that mix, right? So love what they're doing, and Najee Harris out the backfield, we know what he can do, so the hope is that everybody can stay healthy. That's the big thing about it. I think that's really the Steelers' issue, like uh, that you can possibly attribute to why they didn't, make the playoffs or win as many games is because they were missing some key players, right? T.J. Watt being one of them. The offensive line was a little banged up as well. It's as well as Najee Harris offensively, yes. So I'm going to sit here and say on this podcast that give the Steelers some love. Give them some love, and throughout OTAs, for Pittsburgh, from what I've been hearing, that cornerback Corey Trice has also been impressing as well. The rookie they picked up in the seventh round kind of fell due to some medical concerns, but he's a guy that they really liked. He had an interception, a couple of pass breakups, OTAs a couple of days ago, so they really like him. Offensive line just they got to stay consistent, stay healthy, stay in tandem with each other, and I feel like another year they will have improved. So I'm telling y'all, man, watch out for the Steelers this year. They're going to be a contending team. I give them at least. I think they can win 10 games this season. I think they can win 10 games. I don't think they're going to lose more than 5, maybe 6 games, possibly. Well, then again, yeah, they would have to win. Now I think about it. Okay, yeah, I think they can win 11. I think they can go 11-6 this year. I think the Steelers can go 11-6. With that roster, everybody stays healthy. Because look, they split the series with the Bengals last season. They split with the Bengals. They won a game against Cincinnati and they lost one. So they can beat them. So that's going to be a key for them. Is can you get a game against Cincinnati? Can you get a game against Baltimore? The Browns, if that's not that big of an issue. It's because they're just not that much of a threat in that division right now. But the two teams that are a threat, that being the Baltimore Ravens and the Cincinnati Bengals. If you can split the season series with them, that's going to be huge. It's going to be huge coming into the division play, especially when the season is over, seeding, all that stuff, right? I don't think the Steelers are going to win the AFC North. I think they have the potential to finish second, and I definitely believe they can get a game against the Bengals, and beat them. And I think they can go to the playoffs. I say they will go to the playoffs. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to the playoffs this year. They're going to have a great season. Kenny Pickett's going to have a great season. George Pickens as well. I think this team is going to make a lot of noise in 2023. Like, that's my bold prediction there. So that is my team that nobody's talking about. I think the team that's going to shock everybody in 2023, the Pittsburgh Steelers, are going to make a bunch of noise. So you heard it here on Jay's Fifth Down podcast. But moving to more around the league news, Leonard Floyd just signed a 1-year deal with the Buffalo Bills today. I think that was, just adding a veteran pass rusher to that defense as well. So great pickup there for Buffalo. And as we continue to go through our OTAs and heading into mini camp and eventually training camp, we'll keep you updated on all these things. DeAndre Hopkins still has not chosen his team where he wants to go to. From what we hear, it's a slow. He's taking his time with it, just waiting to see how things play out. He might not even sign a deal until training camp or right before training camp. So we'll keep you guys updated here. Just make sure you're checking back with us on the podcast. Follow us on the socials on IG at Jay's Fifth Down Pod, as well as Twitter. Same thing, Jay's Fifth Down Podcast. Just follow us there. And we're also on TikTok. So make sure you guys are staying up to date with us on everything you need to know about the NFL, college football, all that good stuff. And make sure you tune in for a special episode tomorrow for Jay's Fit Down. We've got some great guests coming on the show. I'm excited for them to come back on, so make sure you guys don't miss that episode. Please don't. You're going to love it. And make sure you subscribe to the channel. Comment your thoughts in the comment section down below. And we'll see you next time on Jay's Fit Down Podcast. I'm your host, Jaden. Thank you, guys.